Peace. Good morning, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Today is Friday, January the 3rd. This is the first Friday of the month. So, whatever type of first Friday events that you go to, I guess today is the day that you go to those first Friday events, whether it's a city function or organization function or whatever it is, club, whatever the type of stuff that you're going to do on your Friday. Today is your day to show out. Yes. I don't know where I got January from. June the 3rd. And why is this reverb on? I don't like it, so I'll change it. So for everybody that's here in this Facebook space and everybody that's on the YouTube space, I would like to say thank you, and I appreciate you for always being here, for always showing up. For those that are listening to it on podcasts, if you ever want to see it live as it goes down, you can go to Consistency is Currency Facebook page, or you can go to the Consistency is Currency YouTube page, where you can actually see it, where you got the whole presentation, to where you're seeing it real time, the same time as it happens. That's just if you're normally listening to it from the podcast. You're either listening to it on Spotify, what's the other one? Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, what else? Facebook podcast. So all of those podcasting platforms, if you normally listen to it on that and you want to see it live, then you can see it on either Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You're seeing it as it goes down. So again, for everybody that's watching, I thank you and I appreciate you. Today is the last day of the first week of June. And, happy you made it. I'm happy I made it. I'm happy I can see you. I'm blessed to see you just like you're blessed to see me, because there's somebody right now that did not wake up. And because that person did not wake up, they're not able to live again. I mean, because they're passed away. So they're not able to live again. But because you and I are presently able and we're here right now, we have the ability to live, we have the ability to love, we have the ability to change, and we have the ability to grow and move in a direction that is progressive and move in a direction that is producing things that is going to benefit us and everybody that we surround ourselves and how they can benefit. So good morning to you. As I say it to you, you can say it in return. I'm just saying. But peace. So today's subject, what we're talking about is, it's not about what happens. And as I was getting into today and talking about getting the subject out of my head and what I want to speak about, because yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you what happened yesterday. So yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of things that mentally just took me out of the headspace on preparing myself for today. Like I would normally do, I would have already pushed it out to know what I was going to do, know what I was going to talk about, but it just didn't happen that way. So, but I think it happened right on time, as today's subject happened right on time, because it's not about what happens. And I can vouch for that today. It's not about what happens. As I go into the lesson, then you're going to get and understand where I'm coming from, that it's not about what happens. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Make sure y'all share this, because I think, because it touched me as I was going through the lesson plan, and I believe it's going to touch someone else as well, because sometimes we just look at things differently. Sometimes we look at things from the worst case scenario. Sometimes we look at things as the woe it's me. And it happens sometimes more often than not. But it's about what we do when we're in that moment, when we're in that time, when we're in that situation, when we're in that moment, that something has to change and something has to be different, because if not, we're going to find ourselves back in that headspace. We're going to find ourselves continuously reliving that moment because we did nothing about it when we was in that present state. So it's not about what happens. So let's go ahead and jump into it, that it's not about, what happens, real quick. So it's not about what happens. And for those that's new to the platform, you're going to get and see the definition of words, and then you're going to see the words, you're going to get a definition of words, and then now we're going to invert it, whether it's white over red or red over white. Then that is just a new way of looking at how we want to define certain things, or just key points. So the first thing we're talking about is happens. We look at happens as sometimes as permanent. So the definition of happens is come about by chance. And what I want you to pay attention to in the definition is red over white, which is about by chance. Because it happened about by chance. And the second definition of happens is be experienced by and befall. Be experienced by and befall. And the inversion on this is red over white, which is experienced by. Experienced by someone. So pay attention to experienced by, and the other one was about by chance. So in this definition, you also see the word befall. So I went to befall, I started to run down this rabbit trail, like, okay, how do you begin to extract to allow people to understand that it's not about what happens? So now befall is to happen to, especially by chance or fate. Befall. So now what I want you to focus on is to happen to. To happen to. So if we're talking about happen, saying it's about by chance, and we're talking about happens to say it's experienced by, and we're talking about befall where it's to happen to, the thing that I want you to understand when we're talking about it's not about what happens is it's not by chance, but by change. It's not by chance, but by change. So it's the deep dive that I want to get into, and I want you to understand, is everything happens to everyone all the time. Just imagine, put yourself in the outside view. It's raining outside. You have two people that is happening to it's happening to everyone, but I just wanted you to focus on two people. You can put yourself as one of the persons and put somebody else as another person, or you can just look at it from the outside point of view to see which one are you. You have two people. It rained at the same time, the same day, the same time of the day, because you live in the same town, but the rain is what is constant. The rain is what the rain is what happened. One person is going to look out the window and say, oh man, it's raining. I hope they call us off today. But then you got the other person that looks out the window and say, oh man, it's raining. I know that I still need to go out because I still have bills to pay. I still need to make this happen. I still have to go out and make sales, because if it's raining, then the people that I know that I need to make sales from most likely is going to be in the house. But yet the common thing is it happened. It didn't just happen to you, it happened to everyone. And a lot of times we have to understand that every choice is 50-50. So it happened to them and it happened to you, but what choice are you going to make after those things that happen? Because it's not about what happened, it's about what you're going to do about it. Because things can go amazing and life can begin to open up for you, but just as life opens up for you, things can ultimately go terribly wrong and cut your time short here on this earth. But you can easily flip the endings in the scenario that I said, but just by doing something different, because anything can happen. And when those things happen, you got to understand, what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there, oh, it rained, and get back into bed and go back to sleep and cry about it, or whatever it is that you're going to do. Or you can look at the rain, just like when COVID hit. COVID happened, but what did you do when COVID hit? A lot of people look at it and they say, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to take this course. I'm going to go online and I'm going to start getting my finances right. I'm going to go online and I'm going to, build on another stream of income. It happened to everyone, but what individuals did is what made them different. A lot of people just begin to produce. Again, it's not about what happened, it's about what you're going to do. What have you done? What options are you going to take? What options will you make happen? All of us can produce, but the things that are different is about who is willing to produce when it's time for the production to be done. Are you willing to make things happen, or are you just going to sit by and watch things happen? But you have to begin to formulate the product of producing, because the things that it said, like, be fruitful and multiply. That means you have to produce your thoughts and multiply those thoughts. And then the same activity that you put into those thoughts, you can multiply only after you have produced. But are you willing to change your outcome? Y'all share this, because somebody's going to need this. Somebody has not created their ability to produce. Somebody put produce in the chat, because if you can put produce into the chat, the same way that as you type it is the same way that you can write that into your life. The same way as you can then exceed those expectations that you have for yourself, because it didn't just happen to you, but because it happened, what are you going to do and what are you going to produce? Because if not, then you will succumb to the same situations as that person who looked out the window and said, I hope they call us off work today. Knowing you got things that need to be done, but you can still sit there and say, you know what? I'm still going to get my report finished. I'm still going to take actions on the things that I know that need to be done, because I know I still need to produce. I don't care if they call us off, because I know I need to produce, because I have goals and I have aspirations. I don't care what you said about me. That is a happenstance, because you're not my forever. You're not the thing that it just happened to me is not something that's going to happen to me forever. So I'm still going to produce. I'm still going to create an outcome for me, because I know that the decision is mine to make. So because the decision is yours to make, you're going to have to understand that you're going to have to allow yourself to feel and to make a decision. But the things that we have to understand is that decisions are things that you're going to have to understand, that you're going to have to refuse to stop making things about you. Because those things that you make about you, and it's oh is me or woe is me and all this stuff, those are thinking traps. So what's a thinking trap, Mr. R2? Now, I know when I took what's that course? Master Resiliency course. And one of the things that they talked about in Master Resiliency was thinking traps. So thinking traps are patterns of thought. What thought patterns come to mind when things happen to you? So it's usually those negative thoughts that come to mind when things happen to you, that prevents you from seeing things as they really are. Like, one of the thinking traps was like the me trap, the me. And the me thinking trap is about solely thinking that everything is only happening to you. Like, me. It's everything is you. It's not. It rained on everyone. You're not the only one that lost their job. You're not the only one that lost their car. You're not the only one that lost their mother. You're not the only one that this happened to. But now you can say, okay, I'm still alive. I still have my arms. I still have my fingers. I still, I'm breathing. So because I have breath, what am I going to do in this state of life? Or because I am still living, what am I going to do? And the other thinking trap was the them. the them or the you, whatever it is, whichever one you want to do. Now, this particular thinking trap starts to make you believe that other people and circumstances are the sole cause and the root of the problems and your setback. Those thinking traps have you pointing a finger at everybody else. When these things happen to you, you feel like it's your fault. It's you did it, or you had, or you. Those are thinking traps. And the other one is like the helpless thinking trap. Now, in the helpless thinking trap is people get stuck in believing bad situations are just here to stay, and they can't do anything about it. Because remember, it's not about what happened, but it's what are you willing to do and what are you going to do about it? What decisions are you making when these things happen? What products are you producing after the thought has already sparked and hit your mind? What type of thought are you going to do? Because remember, it's not by chance, but it's by change. Happens to everyone. That's the chance that you take. It's going to happen at any given time. It's going to happen. But what are you going to do to change? What are you going to do to develop a new outcome? In your production of creating a new and a different outcome, you have to understand that the perspectives are going to have to change. The way you look at it is going to have to change. And I'm going to give you this simple little tool. I mean, again, this was in, Master Resiliency class. I'm going to give you this simple tool of how you begin to change your perspectives, and it's called reframing. Reframe it. Because reframing allows you to begin to change how you see something and begin to express it differently. Again, we're still going to use the rain scenario. I look out my shade, I see the rain. I see an opportunity to work out inside the house. I can do my calisthenics, I can do push-ups, sit-ups, run in place, turn whatever on, get the weights, do whatever it is. If that's what I want to do, if I know that physical fitness is something that I do, I still create the option. But the other person looks out like, oh man, it's raining. The gym has to be closed today. So I'm going to go back to sleep. Right? The rain is the constant, but the reframing is the changing of the perspectives. Because why? It rained on everyone. But the reframing of your perspectives will have you and the other person actually taking two different actions, producing two different outcomes. Because the constant thing is the rain. And reframing not only changes the way you see things, but it also changes the way you think. It changes the way you respond to situations, and it can ultimately begin to change your thoughts, so where you don't have to go down that slippery slope into that spiraling position. So now you're in a negative disposition, like we spoke about this past day. The disposition change when you change your perspectives. The inherited emotions that you can develop from being in a certain environment actually changes when you change your perspectives. And after you change your perspectives, I want you to remember that you need to go forward no matter what. I'm not concerned about what just happened, because I need to know that I'm not going to say I need to know. I know that I still have to produce. I still need to do these things because my kids need to eat. I still need to produce because I know I still have goals. I still need to produce because I know I still have dreams and I am working on those dreams. So I can't concern myself with what happened. I should only concern myself with what am I going to do? Am I willing to do something different today that is going to set myself up for what tomorrow is going to bring? Because if not, then I am going to fall victim to everything that comes my way because I didn't change into a producer. I wanted to stay the victim. I didn't want to be the victor. I didn't want to have victory. I didn't want to change my outcome because I didn't move forward no matter what. And that is an option. That's not something that always happened. That is someone who has taken the option to actually produce no matter what and put yourself in a position to be bigger, better, and greater because you have begun to develop harnessing the new you. It's not always going to be easy. Sometimes it's not going to be fun because the chance of it being fun is still 50-50. The chance of it's going of rain, especially here in Texas, is 50-50. But what side of the 50 are you going to be on? What side of the 50 is your perspectives going to see? How do you see the glass? Is it half full or is it half empty? It's all perspectives, but I am moving forward no matter what. Because if I look at the glass half empty, you look at the glass half full. For to me, I see is water. I can drink it. I'm moving forward no matter what. You sit there and look at the glass all day. That water to me is made to be drank. Is made to be drank. That's still moving forward no matter what. And as you begin to tap into that, and now you begin to tap in to those natural abilities that you have. Why? Because you got it. You can still produce no matter what. It's still going to rain no matter what. It's still going to be hot outside during the summer. It's still going to snow in the winter, whatever it is. It's not about what happens. It's about what you're going to produce. All right. I'll see you guys Monday, 7:30. It's Friday. Do an assessment on what you've done this week. Look at it for what it is, and then begin to say, okay, I see I could have done this different. Now I'm going to produce a different outcome because I'm making a decision on that. And after you make that assessment, create a new plan and create a new action. And after that, I guarantee you that you have a different outcome. Y'all be blessed. Peace.